All right. So we've learned so far how to solve a linear system using two methods. We've learned how to solve a linear system by graphing the two lines and then finding the point of intersection. We learned how to solve it using substitution. And now we're going to learn how to solve it using elimination. And then I'm going to tell you, basically, I'm going to give you an idea of when to use what, okay? When you are given a question and then you have to pick one, right? When do you pick elimination? When do you pick substitution? So on and so forth. So, what does the word elimination mean? Get rid of something, right? When you want to eliminate something, you get rid of it. You eat it, right? If it's something edible, or you throw it if it's something that's, right? So elimination means to get rid of something. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to get rid of one of the letters. So as you can see, in each equation, we have y and x, y and x. So we want to do something to get rid of one of the letters. You're always going to pick the letter that have the same coefficient in both equations. So for example, if you have, let's say, you don't have to write this one down. Let's say if you have plus y equals 1, and then 2x minus 3y equals 5, okay? You see that both of these x's, they have a coefficient, so I can eliminate these. If I want to eliminate two things, what do I do to eliminate 2x and 2x? Do I add? Do I multiply? Do I subtract? Do I divide? What do I do? If you divide, you get 1. You want to get 0. What do you do? Subtract. So exactly what I have to do. I subtract both of the equation so I can get rid of, so I can eliminate that x. Okay? So what I do with the elimination, I either subtract or I add. And it depends if the coefficient have the same, if the term have the same coefficient or if they're opposite signs. Okay? Remember that you want one that's positive and the other one has to be negative so they cancel. Right? If you have plus 2 and minus 2, they eliminate. If you have plus 5 and minus 5, they eliminate. Okay? So you want to have them the same number, but one is positive, the other one is negative. The important thing to do when it comes to elimination is you want everything to line up. Okay? So you want to put the x's under the x's, the y's under the y's, the equal under the equal, the number under the number. They have to line up so you can subtract or add. Okay? So let's look at an example. So I have this example right here, which is y equal x plus 1 and y equal x plus 7. It's asking me to use elimination. We learned how to do substitution on Friday, right? We learned that we can actually take this and put it here and then isolate. But let's learn how to do substitution. First, do you agree that the y is under the y? Yes. The equal is under the equal? X term is under the x term? It is, right? If it's I can make some space, right? So I can write it like this if I want to. Right? I can write it like this just to make some space. Now they're under each other. Okay. Now, which letter? You can put a 1 there just to make That's right. Yep. So which letter have the same coefficient in front of it? Y or x? They have to have the same number in front of it. What's the number in front of the y? 1. What's the number in front of the y in the second equation? 1. Do they have the same number? Yes. So this is the one that I want to eliminate. Okay? To eliminate, I have to subtract. So this is what you do. Eyes on the board for a second. So to subtract, you're going to actually do minus, minus, minus. So you're going to subtract the terms, the x's from each other, the numbers from each other, and the letters from each other. So they have to subtract each term by the second one. Okay? So let me write it down. Was it minus 7 or plus 7? Okay. So we said we're going to have to subtract, subtract, subtract. Let's see what we're going to get when we subtract. When you have y minus y, what do you get? 0. Gone. There is no more y. It's 0. Now, I have negative 2x minus 1x. You're at negative 2, and you're going back 1. Negative 3x. Guys, we're on the number line. You're at negative 2, and you're taking away 1. You're going backward 1, right? So you're at negative 3x. 1, take away 7. Negative 6. You're 1 above the ground, and then you're going down 7 levels, right? So you're at negative 6. Now you see that I only have x left, yes? Good. Now how do I isolate for that x? Because at the end, I am looking for my x value.
Do you bring your plus down?
Do I bring what down? Sorry?
Your plus 1 plus 7?
This one?
Yeah.
1 minus 7, that's 9, 6. No. So now I have this equation, and I want to isolate for x. So I want to leave x by itself. What's the first thing I want to get rid of? The negative 6. The 3 is the last thing you want to get rid of because it's with the x, right? So the first thing I want to do is I want to bring the negative 6 over. So what does it become? Plus 6. So I have 6 minus 3x. Now what do I do to get rid of that negative 3? Divide by negative 3. So I have to divide by negative 3 now. And that gives me x equals negative 2.
I know, and if you don't miss any days.
Okay? Now I know that x is equal to negative 2. But remember, I'm looking for a point of intersection. A point has what values? X and y. So I found the x. Now I still have to find the y. To find the y, all what you have to do is plug in the value of x into one of your original equations and solve for y. So in this case, I'm going to pick equation 2. Doesn't matter which one I pick. It shouldn't matter. If your answer is correct, it does not matter, okay? So if I plug in x equals negative 2 into the second equation, just because it's easier, so I have y equals x plus 7. If I plug in negative 2 for x, because I know x is negative 2, so that y equals 5. Yes? So I found my point of intersection, which is negative 2 and 5. So if I actually graph these 2 points, I'm going to graph it for you on Desmos. So the first one was y equal negative 2, negative 2x plus 1. And the second one is y equal x plus 7. I want you to look at the point of intersection right here. What does it say? That's a point where the two lines meet. What does it say right there? Is that the answer that we got? Okay. So what I did is I lined up the y's, the equal, the x's, and the numbers. And then I decided which letter I want to get rid of. Because the y has the same coefficient, which is 1 in this case, I want to get rid of the y by subtracting. I subtract each term to get an answer. So 1y minus 1y, that's 0. I subtracted the x. I subtracted the numbers. I ended up with an equation that has x in it. I had to isolate for x, so I brought the negative 6 over to become plus 6. And then I divided by negative 3 to get the answer for the x. Now, me knowing that the point of intersection is a point, so it's an x and a y, I used one of the equations to solve for the y value. Now, if you want to check your solution, what would you do? If the question asks you to check your solution, what would you do? Check means plug it in, plug the answer, the x and the y, in both equations. So plug 5 for y, negative 2 for x, and make sure that your left side is equal to the right side.